everyone, I'm Neha.
And I'm Nimmu.
And we are the Vegan Duet. In today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about what veganism is, what our journeys look like, our transition to veganism, and why we went vegan in the first place.
So what is the definition of veganism? Well, according to the Vegan Society, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey to veganism. When I was in high school, around my teenage years, I had debilitating menstrual cramps. I would sort of just black out because it was so painful. And then this one time I hit my head on the floor and my mom freaked out and she was like, okay, this is it. We're going to find a doctor. We tried a lot of different types of medicine and nothing seemed to work. And so we finally decided, okay, we were going to go with a naturopath. Naturopathy is basically this practice where you alter your diet to solve any underlying issues that you may have. So I went on this naturopathic diet, which is essentially a raw vegan diet, which at the time I didn't know. I was just like, oh, I'm just eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, which is what a raw vegan diet is. It's just fruits, vegetables, and nothing cooked, no cooked food. And I found over a couple of months that this diet really, really helped me. My menstrual cramps reduced a lot. Like the pain was just, it went from like 100 to like 50 in a month. And I was like, this is incredible. I haven't found any sort of success with any other form of medication. And I sort of looked into this as like a long-term lifestyle. Like, is this a sustainable thing that I could do long-term that would like cure any other underlying issues I might have, or like keep me healthy for life? Like if I can cure this one issue, maybe I can cure a lot of underlying things, right? So that's sort of like how I started looking into veganism. I found veganism as like, oh wow, people actually do this every day. Like they live this kind of life every day. And so I was like, okay, let's look into this. And I looked into all the ethical aspects behind it. I looked into like the environmental benefits and I looked into like the health benefits. And I was like, this is incredible. I think we should all go vegan. And I was so excited and I told my family that I'm going vegan. They all weren't on board immediately, obviously. They were like, where are you going to get your calcium? What about your protein? But we'll get to like how we converted them later. That's sort of my journey into like how I went vegan. And while I was like looking into these ethical aspects, right, like some things just like hurt so bad. Like I was just like, how is this happening on a daily basis and no one seems to care about it? Like, for example, in the dairy industry, so many cruel things happen to these mother cows. From the moment that they're like mature enough to be pregnant, they're just impregnated over and over. And because you have to be pregnant in order to produce milk. That's how like the lactation system works, right? So these poor calves like grow up and live their entire lives just being impregnated, giving birth over and over, this endless painful cycle. And as soon as a mother cow gives birth to her calf, almost like within 24 to 48 hours, their calf is taken away from them. And you can just imagine the amount of emotional pain that the mother cow goes through. If you watch videos online of dairy cows, their calves being taken away from them, they're just running after this like trailer and like calling out to their young. So it's just a very cruel secret that's kept hidden away from everyone. And then in order for dairy cows to be milked, they need to be hooked onto these machines. And they milk them like so hard that pus and blood comes out into the milk. And it's just disgusting. And it's such a cruel industry. Also, male calves, as soon as they're born, they're either stuffed into this tiny little enclosed space to be killed for veal, or they're grown up to be killed for beef. So as soon as I saw all the information about it, I was just like, I can't contribute to this anymore. And
Yes.
That's why I went vegan.
Yeah, and that was the reason why you went vegan. And, at the time, she was telling me all these different things about veganism. And, I was, kind of half paying attention, half not paying attention. I thought personally that she was exaggerating things a little. I mean, if the animal agriculture industry was so terrible, then how come more people aren't vegan, and how come veganism isn't, more popular in general? So I always viewed vegans as this, supercilious, self-righteous,
Annoying.
annoying minority. Why are they always imposing their personal beliefs on me? This is my way of life, and I don't need some vegan coming and telling me, what to eat and what not to eat. And so I ignored her for a while a little. Well, I mean, I'm ashamed of it now, but I ignored Neha for a while. But then she started to plant this sort of seed of doubt in me, because she was so passionate about it. Why would she be promoting veganism so much if it wasn't, important to her, and if it wasn't meaningful? So I started to do more research into veganism and the vegan lifestyle. And then I started discovering that Neha was actually right about a lot of things, and she was right about a lot of things that I hadn't previously considered. Everything about cows and calves and other animals stuck in the agriculture industry was something that I didn't know before. And the more I started to research it, the less I felt that I could justify my current non-vegan lifestyle. I started to think that if this is the kind of thing that the animals have to go through before they are killed, then is this the kind of lifestyle that I want to be leading? So I was still like, okay, all of these things are happening, but where am I going to get my nutrition from, and how am I going to live? Because dairy and eggs are essential to like how we live and stuff like that. Neha was still living with us at the time, and she started bringing home these vegan substitutes, so oat milk, almond milk, soy milk, cashew milk, all these different plant-based milks that I had never heard of before. And then I was like, wow, these taste pretty great. I mean, they're slightly different in flavor, of course, and they can take a little getting used to, but they're fabulous. Way better than I expected.
Yeah, pretty creamy. Like,
yes,
especially oat milk.
Oat milk is amazing. Amazing. That it's really the best. And it uses the fewest resources too, so it's really great for the environment. So, different vegan substitutes, not just for milk, but also for cheese. And I was a huge cheese lover,
Oh my God.
I was
shocked when she said she was going to go vegan, because she was so addicted to cheese. Like, she had cheese on everything.
A huge cheese addict, like a lot of people I know. I mean, who doesn't love cheese, right? It's, like, I used to put like buckets and buckets of Parmesan cheese onto my pasta, and then I would be annoyed at her because she would always be like, what about the cows? Yeah, so many different vegan substitutes. And so I thought, okay, there are these plant-based substitutes, and I know that these non-vegan products can be cruel to the animals, bad for the environment, a lot of times bad for our health. So why don't I just make the transition to a vegan lifestyle? There's really nothing stopping me at this point. I have everything. I can still enjoy all the foods that I used to, but now they're plant-based. That's the only difference. And so that was how I slowly started to change my mind over the course of a few months. And then suddenly one day in December 2018, one fine day, I was like, I want to go vegan for real. And I still remember the ecstasy in her face. She was like, this is great. This is incredible. I'm so proud of you. And we did go to Seattle for a while for Christmas, and I was like, okay, these 2 weeks, I'm just going to be 100% vegan. I'm going to see if this is something I can do, and if it's going to be okay for me to, be vegan, completely plant-based. And it was perfectly fine. I mean, apart from the usual annoyance of, going into stores and seeing all your favorite products suddenly be off limits to you because they contain 2% milk powder, I still get annoyed about that. I still get annoyed about that.
It's so unnecessary.
It is very unnecessary. And so, that was annoying, of course. But then I started to remind myself of why I was vegan in the first place. I was doing it for the animals. I was doing it for the environment. And for my health, and even for human rights as well. And those are the reasons why I eventually turned vegan.
Yeah, and it's been like 3 years-ish for both of us.
3 years.
And never looking back, not even considered once going back to vegetarianism or eating meat or anything.
Yes, best decision ever.
Yes. And now our goal is to be more active as vegans. We want to be We want to spread the word of veganism and sort of reach as many people as we can and spread this message of compassion and normalize veganism as something that is a possibility for you guys as well to adopt into your lifestyle.
We want to expand our reach, so we started this podcast together, and we will be addressing many important issues about veganism, such as the truths about the animals that we eat that the animal agriculture industry often hides from us, and like the ethical, environmental, and health related concerns that a lot of people have about veganism.
And in addition to that, we'll also delve into like more personal topics, like how to convince your parents to go vegan. And if you live in a really cultural household, like an Indian household or any other culture, and sort of meat and dairy and eggs are sort of ingrained into the culture of your food within your household, how to convince your parents that that may not be the right decision for your household, or how to convince your parents to switch to alternatives. And we'll sort of talk about those topics as well.
Yes. So in the meantime, feel free to DM us or email us about any questions or concerns that you might have. All right. See you next time
on the Vegan Duet
podcast.